Right. Can you see that?
Everyone see that? All right.
Can you see anything?
Yes.
Now, where did I have this more? Where did I have this annotate before? Ah, there it is. That's the one. Got it. When I press, does that come up on the bottom of the screen? Is there a bar across the bottom of the screen with symbols on it?
No.
Okay, that's good. Okay then, fine. Right. Runswick Leamside. Don't know how many of you have heard of Runswick Leamside. Most of you probably. I'm giving you a potted history from about 2007 because this is where my photos start. At the Stafford show 2007. And this is how we ran things then. If you want to ask any questions while I'm going, it's probably better than wait until the end. This is the end of the station coming out off the main front straight, as you can see, with the bridge and the station building and a couple of buses. And the scenery changed. This is looking the other way from almost the same place. I don't know whether you can see the, oops. Can you see that?
Yes.
That is a boat with some sunbathers in it. More later. The Leamside pub, the house on the back scene, more buses on the bridge, no trains yet. Oh, you can actually see people above the back scene. I didn't notice that before. Oops, I've always got to remember to get rid of that annotation before we start. Right, I just point something out. This is the old track plan, the original track plan, which was changed after this exhibition. You will see that we have a signal box there and the branch line goes with single line branch line there and two main lines, one there and one there, which is the old track plan. And as you can see, this train here is winding its way out, which it wouldn't be able to do after the track of the layout changes. Oh, I keep forgetting. A close-up of the station building with the bridge and a 47 poking its nose out. This is one of Andy Clayton's specials with a patched up Transpennine logo. I think it's the only one that was painted in that livery. What is it, 47675 or 765 or something like that? Or 475?
475.
475. Thank you. The train disappearing round into the back scene through to the fiddle yard on the other side. The church in the top corner, at the top here, it was made by a Macclesfield Club member many years before. It's not permanently on the layout, it's loose, so because it belonged to this person himself and not to the club, but he loaned it to us for the use of on the layout. It looked very nice, but if we couldn't have it, it would make an awful gap on the layout. But we were very lucky; we never lost use of it. This is the other end of the layout where the motorway bridge is. The motorway bridge is there, as you can see. 47 of the parcels on the up main. One of the problems with this old layout was that this what do you call it, loop here was very short. You can see the depot in the distance, some of the grass and everything else, the signals, which were operated by switches on the panel, the same as we do on Tunbridge West Yard. And we had, most of them were 4-aspect signals. So we had red, double amber, red, amber, double amber, green, or the other way around. Red, double amber, amber, green. No, red, amber, double amber, green. No, it's amber, red, green, double amber, amber, red. From time to time we ran charter trains, the charter rake of Mark 1 coaches, which were originally Lima Mark 1 coaches. I can't remember whether these were the Lima ones, which I detailed up and put gangways on, or whether these were the newer Backrun ones. But on this occasion, we had an ARC 51 at one end and a Yeoman 50, an ARC 59, I should say, at one end, and a Yeoman 59 at the back end. And this is at the Leamside pub end, which is here. Whoops. Sorry about that. I keep forgetting to delete it. Looking at the station bridge from a low level. Ignore the wagons under the bridge. They were too late for the period of the layout. But a certain person, not me, insisted on running them. No questions so far? Now you can see what I mean.
That's disgusting. Brand new show, right?
You like that, do you?
Well, not especially.
Okay. Just thought I'd show you that. Right, now, layout, the old track layout. You can probably see from this that the loop, which this train is in here, only goes from there to there. The turnout onto the loop is just under that carriage, just there. That's how long it was, and everybody decided that was far too short, because we wanted to run longer trains. Considering we had very long trains on the loop out here, we decided we wanted to put longer trains in the loop on the inner circuit. So the track plan was changed after this show. I think this is my HST going round on the inner loop. Later it became part of the outer loop. I think I'm on a different exhibition now. What's in the shed? 31. Oh no, maybe not. Does that look like the same locos in the shed to you?
It's got the same army lorries on the bridge.
Yeah, blue 31, blue 37, grey 37. Yes, it's just, yeah. Same exhibition, Stafford. Please note the shed roof on this one with the vents down the middle and I presume these were other vents as well, because we were having some circular rotating the fans that fit on the roof, the great big, I don't know what you call them. They look like hats, medieval hats that sit on the top. Circular ones, and they were fitted to the shed roof later on. You'll see those in later photographs. I don't know who was driving. I don't know what the intermodal is doing in the loop. I would have thought that would have been a through train. But you can see the motorway up the top. Not very busy there. Right, this is the new track plan. After Stafford, it was 2007, it was changed to this. The signal box was taken away. The branch was made double with no direct access across there to the branch. Instead, we had access onto the branch was new. So you couldn't come off that line like you saw before and go straight across to there, like that other train did on the photograph I showed you earlier. Or the branch was basically doubled because it was originally double track, but one of them, as you can see, was a head shunt to there. That was the actual branch line going around there. And the other one was just a head shunt. We found that quite useful, but it meant, of course, that on this track, we'd now got from here to here for the loop, with this extra track under the bridge and the crossover taken out from down there. And there was a double crossover here, just here, and that was removed and just left like that, with one crossover from the up to the down. So that was the changes made after Stafford. You can see the motorway and the pub and everything else. Can everybody read all that? If I can describe a bit more, it says here carriages and multiple unit stabling, but we didn't do that. It was basically a few engineers' wagons were glued down over there, and we just used it to stable a few things just up here. After this, and this basically became a civil engineer's yard. I'm sure it had two sidings as well. It's shown one there, but I may be wrong. We'll soon find out in the photos. So this is the next show that we did. Can't remember where this was now. (2007 or 2008), where we had the new track layout. And so we also made the ballast look as though it was newly laid too. Paul recognised his train, didn't you, Paul?
I don't want to mention it, you know.
Yeah, sitting in the loop there. You can see it there. Yeah. Very nice it was too. Ran very well. Very popular train that was. This was about the time as well that we had trouble in trying to remember where all the trains went and the fiddle yard when we were setting up before an exhibition started. And people started to write all these, write a list and draw it out on a piece of paper, any scraps of paper they could. But it got a bit messy because people would leave them behind or would forget. We knew where the long trains went. It was easy to work out where the longer trains went because we'd got those tracks and those roads laid out and in our mind already. But working out where some of the smaller ones went was a bit difficult. So we started to write it out. I started to write it out properly on proper sheets of paper, and then go home and produce a spreadsheet with the trains on. And I can't show you those at the same time as this, but I will show you later on. So every exhibition we went to after I think it was Harrogate, I think 2007 or thereabouts. We started to produce, or Harrogate 2008, was it? We started to produce these spreadsheets so that we knew where to put stuff. And we'd also always, or if we made any changes during a show, I'd make a note of them on the sheet of paper and change the spreadsheet when we got home. So that we had a record of all the trains that ran at the exhibition, which turned out to be quite useful. It made setting up a little bit quicker as well, because we weren't constantly changing trains from one track to another while you're setting up. That can be awkward and you've put everything out, can't it? Yeah, here's your train a couple of minutes later, Paul. Yeah, there's only one siding in there. Yep.
And just to be factual, Mike, I think a couple of those bogey wagons are probably were Steve Farmer's.
Oh, were they?
I think they might have been, yeah.
What, some of these at the back here?
Yeah, probably one of the Bream and one of the other, one of the Salmons, I think, might have been.
Oh, right. I didn't realise that. I thought they were all yours, Paul.
No, I only thought about it. I think there might be a little bit of a mixture.
Well, they ran very well, and for a long time, all the time from when we borrowed them, all the time until the layout was retired, they ran then, and they went with my Dutch 37 there very nicely indeed.
Yeah.
But they stayed together. They did all the way through, showing things. So anyway, you can clearly see here the new layout and the long loop disappearing under the bridge. The branch line that side, and that is the head shunt. So we're only finished it with one siding here on this occasion. Clan line is waiting for the Mark 1 charter train to come in. And we just, anything we wanted to store went down here into these sidings. The other end of the sidings, which you'll see later, I've got old wagons in them. And you can see all the new ballasting along there. Done it again. Must remember, Michael. Now you can get a similar view to that earlier one where the train was going across. You can now see that there is no signal box and the extra lines. And the points we used for that crossover there, and these one here, and all the new points in that area, nobody wanted to do any more scratch building because all the other points had been scratch built by Aubrey Scully. Some of you will know him. Nobody wanted to do it, so we bought Tillig points, turnouts, which are quite useful because you can actually bend them slightly. They're quite flexible. A couple of northeast buses on there outside the station. My HST coming the other way. That looks like Iris in the siding. But a general view looking down the layout. With the new houses in this corner was completely rebuilt at the same time because it used to be just fields, and we had shops along the main road with a fish and chip shop on one corner, some houses which backed onto the railway, and in one of the houses they stuck a boat. There's hardly room to swing a cat, let alone put a boat in there. But they got away with it. Low-level view again of the station and the engineers, the Orange Army. You can see the backs of the houses up in the corner here. I think so. I've no idea what that is. It's not on the layout, that's just for sure.
Looks like a teddy bear.
That's what I was thinking.
A woman.
You'll be glad to see that that is blurred. If there's any family members, that's all blurred down there. There's still sunbathing, but you can't see them so clearly.
I'm highly offended by it.
Oh, I'm sure you are. I apologise then, Carl. You can see the loop clearer here, and where the new track's been done, where the crossover's been. There used to be a crossover there. That was the loop. That was all the loop was before. And we found that worked very, very well. We much preferred it like that. Those signals really are in the wrong place, as you know, because you wouldn't stop something, you'd stop it there, wouldn't you, somewhere? But that's a throwback to when the loop used to end there. No, Loco's being taken out the yard here. My 3-car class 158 with the special centre car, Mike Cubley will remember that, because we ran that on New Annington just after I'd acquired the centre car from Bachmann, before the 3 cars were released.
What was it, a test run or something?
That was one of their, well, I think it's one of their test shots or sample ones. It was clear plastic. It was almost clear. It was in that tinted, like tinted plastic. And I was given it by Merle at Bachmann, and I made it up so that it was a centre car. I had a 2-car 158, which that really is, and then put this centre car in it and made it into a Transpennine 3-car. And I got that. I was given that by Merle before the 3-car units came out. It actually ran on New Annington a few times with a few people wondering what the hell was going on. We used to tell people that I'd cut and shut it so that they didn't know.
Clever.
Yeah, and we always challenge people. So where can you find the joint? Nobody ever did they, Mike? Are you still silent, by the way? You still having problems with your sound? Right, next one. Here we are. We've got the new vents on the new fans on the shed. Can you see them there? They were cast, but they were cast out of resin. Aubrey had them done. I can't remember who made them for us, but Aubrey Scully organised all that. It's a nice shed building, that. But again, that was loose. That used to sit in a box, never glued down. The only things that I think were permanent was this lot here. .37s in the head shunt at the end. 2 main lines here and the loop. The fiddle yard. 10 roads in each direction, plus 3 roads for the branch line. Branch line, branch line, branch line, branch line. In a fiddle yard there to there. Outer fiddle yard there to there. Outer circuit, I should say. Full length MGR train. full-length pet food. Full-length pet food train. Do it again. Full-length pet food train with the VGA vans, 56 at the front. There's even room to get a 2-car DMU in. Old style nuclear flash train with 2 Coal 31s on the front. Ballast train. HST there. I don't know if that's on its own right. No, DMU at the other end. Intermodal. A short tank train at the front of that line there, and Paul's civil engineering train down there. Class 91 and Mark 4 with 47 towing just there on the outside track with a 2-car 156, I think, behind it. Another HST over this side. Where's it gone? Can't see it.
It's leaving the circuit.
Oh, so it is. Thank you. It's just going. Yes, it is. Yeah. That was John's cross-country rate one, 7-car, and mine was the 8-car one. 2 or 3 parcels train, steel train here. Yeah, steel train here. The BBAs, all Cambrian BBAs. Can't remember what was on the front of that. This was, oh yes, the international train is here. That took up the full length of that road. It was the longest train on the layout. To distribution 37s on the front of that. And his cement train there. Where's his total oil tanks? Maybe he hadn't made it then. Yep, several trains. As you
Tanks look like they're behind the 158.
I beg your pardon?
The tanks look like they're behind the 158 next to the HST that's leaving.
Oh yes. There you mean? Just there. Yep, that's right. They're the total tanks. Lima conversions with Appleby white metal bogies on. Oh, right. Shall we move on? General view from looking over the motorway. A bit more traffic on the motorway in this view. You can clearly see the nice round fans on the shed there. Made a big improvement, we thought. All the track was hand built, I'm told. I didn't get involved in the building the track. It was done before we went up to Macclesfield in 1996, Paul. They were just doing it then, weren't they? And all the curves are canted. They all have cant on them, both ends, all the way around. And all the track is I think it's Pico sleepers and Pico code 82 individually laid on the inside first and then the outside rail with individual pandrol clips. How long it took them to do it, I've no idea.
Interesting fact, Mike. Don't know if you can hear me. The original plan for Runswick key set for the layout was to build it in EM gauge.
N gauge?
No, EM gauge.
EM?
Yeah. what
Uh,
originally they wanted to do.
Is that what they plan to do?
Yeah,
I never
but
heard of that.
but it got put down by the club, so that's been built in fine scale.
Well, that's something I never knew. I didn't know they'd plan to build it in EM.
Yeah,
that would have been a nightmare changing all that stock to EM wheels, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Bloody hell. As it was, we changed a lot of the wheels, and luckily a lot of my stock had already been changed for New Annington. The wheels on mine had already been changed for New Annington to make them fine scale wheels. So it made it a lot easier to run on this. But code 82 is not as bad as code 75, or so, is it? You're not too bad. We still had problems with Lima wheels on it, though. We could never allow Lima wheels on here. But one of the guys, what's his name? Malcolm Hinton, I think his name was. Malcolm Hinton, he had a lathe, and he was an absolute expert at turning down Lima wheels to put a nice small flange on them. And we just used to take, what we used to do with Lima stock is just take the wheels out, give them all to him, he'd turn them down, we'd put them back in. We didn't need to change the wheels for Romford wheels on most of the Lima stuff. We did on some of it, but he could turn down wheels perfectly, and they were brilliant. Made a really nice job of them as well. This is looking at the other end with of the new layout. The 158 coming into the station or already in. Some engineer stuff in the yard. There was a couple of wagons down here just glued onto the track. Old stuff. But where are we? I think these 2 points were Tillig. And so were the others further up here. The crossover, that's the original scratch built crossover. That train's in the head shunt. You can see the fact no signal box anymore, and the new loop. I'm not sure if this was the first exhibition we ran it in this layout, this track plan. Can't remember now. Ah, now you can see all the wagons at the far end. They were all glued down. There's the hybrid 3 car. Appleby cargo wagons in the siding. None of these wagons are yours, Paul, are they?
No, don't think so.
No. But when we did the relaying to the track as well, a guy called Pete Scoffin and John and Andy decided that they wanted the platform to look a bit old and worn. So Pete Scoffin, who was the grass and scenic expert, made the ends of the platforms look like this. It took all the grey and the smooth bits off, a nice clean look. So that disappeared, and you put grass and rubbish on the platforms. Made it quite effective, I think it was. Quite good. a lovely layout to operate. Really enjoyed operating on this. The Italian job is on the motorway. Right. Yeah, that's just my, no, that's not my HST. That's John's HST going on the inside. My HST finished up on the outside eventually. You can see the inner well where we had our chairs, and there were 3 control panels or 2. I can't remember. No, it's Paul that's got 3. We had 2. One for the inner circuit. Oh no, we had 3. Beg your pardon. One for the one for the outer circuit, one for the inner circuit, and one for the branch line. But the branch line was just a small box which sat on a table at the far end. The inner circuit and the outer circuit were these 2 boxes, which were fixed to the back seam, just hooked over onto the back seam. And we had gauge master feedback controllers, DC, of course.
Mike, it reminds me of one little show, Epsom show, about 16 years ago.
Epsom, yeah. 16 years ago?
Yep, 2005.
Yeah.
And I was on the DMU stand that day, and I brought along one of my Helgen 47s, and which you the team very kindly played host to for the day. I'll never forget you guys coming over to me almost like a deputation saying, "What have you done to it? It works."
Right.
Because Helgen 47s were notorious for the motors being a bit power hungry and not liking control systems of the day.
Oh, I don't remember us having problems with Helgen locos.
It might have been at the beginning of them. A lot of people replaced the motors in them, and all I'd done was put a DCC decoder in it.
Ah, I remember you when you went DCC. Yeah, the main problem with Helgen locos 47s, particularly as I remember, was that the center axle of a bogie, not being driven, used to flop about all over the place and derail like crazy.
Yeah.
That was our big problem. I can remember that. And we solved that one. We sorted that one by reducing the sloppiness of the wheel.
Oh, well, putting some spacers either side of the...
We put spacers in behind the wheels.
Ah.
Stop them moving about so much, and so they didn't jump off. Keep lifting off at points and crossovers.
Yes, I have the same problem with my 58. I solved that the same way.
I've got a Helgen 58, but I don't have any problems with it. It's behind me here somewhere, actually, underneath those cornflake packets.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I can't find the issue with the Rowe modeler, which I know this one's in, which is September 97. It's a very well thumbed issue of the modeler. I think it's about the same sort of time when I first saw the layout. One of the shows in the late 90s. So yeah, going back a few years.
Yeah, I can't remember all the shows. I've got a list of all the shows somewhere, but I can't remember. I'll not remember that far back. I'm an old man now, Tim. Don't forget.
You're not that old, Mike.
Right. Thank you.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. Yeah. Thank you. Who was that? Who was that? Red card, Paul, please. I feel old now. Right. Busy motorway. Is that the same day? Yeah, of course it is. There's the bus. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, different view of the motorway with the roadworks. We always wanted to send the message over. It's better to travel by train. You can see some of the detail. You can see some of the details down here that made it rather nice. very clear view of these castings on the fans on the shed. The view looking back down the track with another ex New Annington rake, Mark IIs, 8-coach Mark II rake with a old Mark I Lima restaurant car. Which I detailed up.
Was it a
Put
Lima
metal
one or was it a
cut.
main-
Sorry?
Was it a mainline or a Lima one, that one?
Lima one, which I actually detailed up.
Ah.
It had standard bogies and didn't have the right things on the roof. I changed everything, put gutters on put gutters on it, put white metal Commonwealth bogies, detailed it inside. I'm sure it was a Lima one.
Actually, if you do
Because the mainline ones had the gutters on, didn't they?
Yeah, that's true.
That's a Helljan 47.
Ah, yes.
Runs very well. That's a good runner. Ah, and the loco, the shunter being taken out the yard. And there you see the John's HST with the front removable panel. And the coupling for coupling up. When sometimes we used to drag his HST set, we changed the power car and put this one on. And it was designed to tow, just like you do when you do, when your HSTs are towed. Again, somebody putting the intermodal in the loop. I don't know what this was built of, to be honest. I presume these were the wheels or hand-built ones. But the trunking, the cable trunking, I don't know whether that was scratch-built, handmade, because it looks to me as though it's been handmade from plastic card. Which I've done on this layout here, and will continue to do so. General arty-farty picture looking across to the houses on the other side. That house there is a copy of a house in Ferrybridge. When they went round Ferrybridge, the layout is based on Ferrybridge, I'm told. And when they went round Ferrybridge, they found all these terraced houses, and they found that on the end of painted on the end of the house. So they took a photograph of it and they repeated it on the layout. There's Kev's camping bus there behind the 31. Sorry, Kev. Ah, we might be on a different show now. Where are we? Perhaps not. This, I think, this is Peterborough. I think we're in Peterborough now, 2009. The year of our retirement. The last but one show. They will both be Lima 37s as far as I know. Because John and Andy did not like Batman for 37s. These might all be Peterborough. I won't notice, I see the motorway. an interloper. Oh, this is definitely Peterborough. Must have been dark in there. Not easy to see the new shops and things around here. That's my my Class 91 and Mark IV set being hauled by a Vitrains 47, that is, a Vitrain one, detailed in weather by Andy Clayton. And we always used to tow it in order to get, sorry, somebody say something. Okay, in order to get the Class 91 to run properly, which is at the back end, it used to push and derail with the motor. I just disconnected the motor totally and just took the motor out, all the gears out. I can't find out where I've put them to this day. They are somewhere in a box. But the 91 was always totally dead. That's the DVT, the Class 82 DVT. And they were all that we had screw link couplings at each end. The rest were my hook and hole with gangway connections. And Mike Cubley will remember the fun we had trying to get it to go around corners when I first put gangways on. I had to redo them all completely. I never got round to doing the gangways properly until we'd actually retired New Annington. It ran at New Annington with a small gap between the coaches, but no gangways, because the gangways always went too tight and pushed the train over when it started to go around a corner. So I ripped them off for the first exhibition and then never got around to doing anything with them until I'd taken the set onto Runswick Leamside. And then I had a real go, and actually I had to cut the ends off the coaches completely with a special tool, which I've got here somewhere, with a template, cut the end of the coach off, put a piece of plastic card behind the bulkhead of the coach and set the gangways inside, so that they were inside, so that when the coaches were so close together, instead of trying to push the coaches apart and off the track, they were just softly concertinaed, and they slid quite nicely. They worked after that, worked quite well. The Belisha beacons were flashing beacon. The Belisha beacons here were actually flashing. You can't see it on the photograph, of course. And also, aha! Now you can see all the new shops and the new road, which goes down the side, and the houses were down here, down there, backing onto the railway. This is the fish and chip shop, and there is a flashing fish and chip shop sign. I don't know whether it's that one or whether it was in the window. But that corner changed completely when we did that, and we think improved the layout as well.
What was the basis of the station building, Mike?
God knows. Nobody ever liked it, to be honest. It was an abomination.
It wasn't like the Airfix Daypole one, was it?
No, scratch bill.
Ah.
I've no idea what it was, but the station building, the station staircases, which you can see there. Nobody liked it, but nobody could be bothered to rebuild it and build a new one. Aubrey Scully did all this, and he made a fantastic job of them. Really, really nice. But I don't know who built that, but the guy who built it would not finish it because there's supposed to be a roof over there.
Oh, a flat roof.
I have no idea what he was planning to do.
I recognise the footbridge because that's definitely the Airfix one.
What is the
The
footbridge?
footbridge. Yeah, that's definitely the Airfix one.
What, the stairs there?
Yep, they're Airfix.
They're only stairs. They are. They're not footbridge. They're only stairs going up from there to the to this building.
Yeah, they're definitely Airfix though,
Maybe
because they're exactly the same as the ones on the one I've got here.
they didn't look very nice. Then if I go to the next photo, as I say, you can see the rest of the houses that all be built. Really made a nice job of those.
Thank you.
All right.
Pardon?
Well, it's still blue.
Anyway, also, once again, you can see the ends of the platforms where
Yeah, but yeah.
weeds and grass were put on the ends of the platform to make them look weathered and old,
Yeah, yeah.
which has quite a good effect, I think.
Good.
Who's that talking?
Dave? Dave, could you mute your sound?
Sorry. Shut up, wife.
Rude.
Right. Intercity Mark II set just coming. Oh no, it's not. It looks like an Intercity Mark II set. Probably not mine. It's on the inner circuit. I think mine was on the outer circuit. Oh, now you can see them. Look at the stairs there. It's supposed to be covered over, wouldn't it? I mean, they weren't the best looking part of the layout, were they? Let's face it.
Yeah, it did the job, didn't it? But
Well, yeah, they should have.
Everything.
Yeah. Well, the bloke who built the station, nobody would dare tell him to finish it off and do it properly. I don't know why, but nobody liked it. That wagon, these three wagons are all glued down. And that was done after we'd revised the track plan. On the revised track plan, this area was all made more green and what shall I say, aged, because originally it was quite clean and you could see ballast and it was quite clean and everything else. But this was done later to make it look a bit older. Again, quite effective. Charter train locos, glorious. In the wrong colour, Paul told me, didn't you? I don't know what that one is. Oops. Will that blow up? No, too fuzzy. Another view, same exhibition. Another view of the motorway.
Mike,
Sorry?
you've got 7 minutes left.
Yes, 16:53, I can see that. Sorry, 2:53, 16:54 now. Yeah, motorway with the army out again. At the motorway end of the layout. Of the general view of the shed. Oh, this is it. This must be Worley, because it's the last show. November 2009. And this photograph, the significance of this is the last train to run on the layout. And the reason they ran this was because it was the very first train to run on the layout when they first built the layout. Okay, that's why that was running. that day. And here we all are. Here are all the numpties who operated the layout on the last day in November 2009 at Worley. Yours truly. Oh, shit. Yours truly, John, Aubrey, Andy, Malcolm Hinton, and I can't remember his name. He was a youngster, he came along later. That's Andy Clayton, Aubrey Scully, John Rawlinson, that's right. Malcolm Hinton.
In progress.
Sorry?
Carry on, Mike.
Yeah, okay. The next three photographs were photographs taken by Tony Wright or somebody of that ilk, especially for the article in the BRM, British Railway Modelling. I think we set this up in a village hall somewhere, and he came along and we did lots of running and lots of photographs, did a big video and everything else. You can see Andy Clayton's Lima conversions here. TEAs. Another photograph taken by him of the loco in the yard in the depot. And I presume he photoshopped the sky background in there. And then another one of the steel. That's actually one of my locos this time. And he's also put diesel fumes on it, look, as well. You tell they've been doctored, but I think they were photographs that were issued in the magazine. Right, the loco was then, the layout was then taken to Trains for You in Peterborough. I don't know how many of you know Trains for You in Peterborough, but they had a mezzanine floor, and we were able to take the layout out up to the shop, and we moved it up there. And so it operated up at Trains for You for a while. And we used to have running sessions every now and again. And they had open days at Trains for You as well, and we used to go up there. Although this looks as though these were taken later on when we actually moved the layout to Crew Heritage Centre, because we had to leave Trains for You because they were downsizing. And I think we moved the whole thing that was when we moved the whole thing to Crew Heritage Centre. And we used to go up there at weekends and operate it whenever we could. This is definitely Crew Heritage Centre. And we used to take the stock up there. We used to take all my stock and we'd run it. These close-ups to the fiddle yards. New cargo wagon vans. New cargo wagon vans there. Leeds Metro Class 158. Oops. Looking the other way. Oh yes, there's over there is a valve gear to Duke of Gloucester valve gear behind there, or some cylinder or something from Duke of Gloucester. There's a big sign at the side which tells you what it is. A few trains here you might recognise. That's my HST. All these locos, all these lights, which were permanently on, were switched on from a little switch underneath and operated by a battery, because it was DC. We used to, at the beginning of the show, we'd switch the lights on and leave them for the rest of the day. Some of the wagons and some of the coaches had flashing lights, but not many. They weren't very common. Another view of the fiddle yard. This is at one of the days in Crew. It's taking longer than I thought this, Paul, isn't it? But we're nearly there. Most of my stock, like the pet food train, cold train, HST, Mark IVs, intermodals, all these cargo wagons. They're still here. They're still in England. In the boxes, in the exhibition stock boxes that I used to take to these exhibitions. The Mark 1 set, this one here, there's 12 Mark 1s on that set. 9 of them Andy's got. He's going to turn it into a charter rate with P4. Aha, Paul, don't know if he's noticed this. Before pre-weathering days, just after I bought them.
Oh yes, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, just after I bought them, just to run them for fun.
Exactly.
They obviously didn't operate up the East Coast Main Line very much. Not those wagons, I don't think anyway. Grain flows did. Another close up of Fiddle Yard. We're just about there now. Class 60s on the Teal train. Hornby 153. That was a nice runner. Proved to be a very nice model, that has. Not much in the shed because we were running everything. This is one of the crew days. This is just towards the end of when we sold it. With a view of the station. There's the fish and chip shop. And the flashing light, I think, must be in the sign must be in the window. Andy Clayton on the right.
Good pair of shorts.
Yeah, he always used to wear shorts. If in the middle of winter, he'd wear shorts. Always wearing shorts, Andy was. Don't know how he managed it. Right, Paul noticed. That's it. That's the last picture.
Very good, mate.
Okay.
That's a good presentation of it.
No, not many questions. Nobody's asked me about this, Paul.
What's that? Oh, right. We've just seen it.
We'll skip that one.
Anyway, thank you very much, Mike.
Okay.
You getting ready, Tim?
Yeah, all ready to rock and roll.
Is Tim's going to be recorded? Because I need to go out, I think, soon.
Everything's.
Yeah, it's